Well, I thought I was going to get this up without it jumping around with me or going off. So here I'm going to, this is video 2, and this is, today is what? I have to stop. I laugh to get through it, okay? Just bear with me. That's what I do. Okay, today's October the 6th? Yeah, it is Saturday. Okay, make sure of that. Okay, where am I going with this? To put a date on it because it connects with the video I just put up. I'm gonna anyway. Here's what I heard on CNN early this morning before the other networks got on. They were talking about, and this is, I have to edit my speech because I don't mean any harm to these people, but why? Ask yourself, and yes, I am telling the truth, and there's not enough space to tell all of it. And quite frankly, I have to hope it gets in front of the world and it's shown. Anyway, today, China's, the last name's Meng, M-E-N-G, and it's a president, it's Interpol, I believe, president disappears. Now then, that is recent, or today, or yesterday, I believe. But then they went to list some others who have disappeared or kidnapped or whatever, of high profile. Not that many. I didn't see the whole statements they made. But why? They've kept me under wraps in plain sight. And just the horror story and my children, and the taking down of, or surely attempting to, of the UK, the British, the British government, okay? Well, I'm still in a Commonwealth state here, I don't know. Anyway, but now then, that was unsealed, the bit I just showed you. And I can see, and probably some people, if they don't see both of them, they won't put it together. So I wanted to answer, though, while I've got this one up. I'm going to show this real quick, Larry Plant. Because he was shot, and I was writing about mind control, murders, and how you could. It was a Tesla file stolen in 1930, and President Trump's uncle, John George Trump, he was professor at MIT. Supposedly, he helped steal the files. Now, I think Trump, and I hope I'm not wrong, I think he's an honest guy, and he's the good guy in all this. They're trying to take him down, for God's sake. Anybody that can stand up there and not punch back, something would be wrong. There's no human being that is normal that that wouldn't experience the pain and suffering and the lies, and they're going to respond. I think he's a good guy. I certainly hope so. Anyway, I've said that about the Tesla files, where you can create an illness or cure it, or let me put my elbow up here so my nose is. It's really not. Oh, forget about my nose here. I got it stuck right here in the camera. So here we go. I wanted to tell this. The UK has been invaded now by other cultures, as Turkey, Germany, France. Okay, what is wrong in saying that? The United States, it wouldn't do, and I don't want to lump them all in there, but a big portion of the United States has hated my guts. They didn't care anything about hearing about my dad, about what's been done to me. And here I'm writing about and telling about one of the most important things. It's the end times. I wouldn't have said that a few years ago, but it is, that I was writing about. And I tell about that, show this, and I'm going to show it again. It's chips put in. Timothy McVeigh, he said that on here. I've showed this on the other video, where they chipped him, the U.S. military did, and I'm making a mess of this, I guess. Put a chip in him. He died. They put him to death. The military put it in him, and he was put to death for the Oklahoma City bombing. in the Murray building bombing. Now, Brian Nichols is still in prison. He was a part of it. These were programmed. But this is telling about, and I got a hold to this, a church sent it to me, a local one, when I was living on the Appalachian Trail up here near Troutville and up on the Mountain Blue Ridge Parkway, close to it. Yeah, eating fish. Well, anyway. Implantable biochips. That's what I was telling about, and telling about you can cure an illness or create it. So when you see all this stuff put up on TV wanting people to contribute and all this, they're contributing to something that's you've had a cure for since 36. Also, this is what they don't tell, and I was telling about it when I was doing the book, Center for Disease Control, and how okay, this is where I need it written down here. I start getting ahead of myself is what I'm told, trying to collect it. There are grants given to colleges for research. Okay, you can cure or create an illness, and I'm going to use Robin Williams because that whether this is true that I know about. I know he was murdered through mind control, what I'm talking about. The rest of it, I'm not going to say because I don't know that part, if it's true or not. Anyway, it was used on him to make him appear to have committed suicide. It's just similar to the same thing the Virginia Tech next door to me in Blacksburg, where they programmed the shooter from South Korea, student, there was 32 that killed, students killed there. And he turned the gun on himself and shot himself, just like the Sandy Hook, where the young fella killed his mother, went in and shot up the nurse or the preschool, or was it preschool? Anyway, killed the children there, turned the gun on himself and killed himself. So it's murder by, appears to be suicide, but it's done by mind control, and it's who's given the mind control. That's where the motive lies. So you can go back to the man who shot the people in Las Vegas. I was trying to think of his name, Paddock. Yeah. Okay, they were trying to autopsy his brain to find a motive. If he had something wrong with his brain, we'll look for a chip. That's all the way. Telling all this, where are your dentists? Where are your psychiatrists? Where are your doctors? Why have they been mum on all of it? Not just mum. Hey, I've had a rough go of this. People want me dead, not just because I'm Margaret and Windsor, but what I'm telling. Now, I want to get to this if I can and make some sense. Just the other day on HBO, and look at all the money and whatever went into that filming and has with making the fake royal family look like the good guys. All this hype where they're living this life that everybody dreams of living while they stole it. They're criminals. They all know it. Charles knows it. Philip and Elizabeth certainly know it. She was 15 when I was kidnapped in 41. I think she was 15. Yeah, I had to bet. Okay, she knows all about this, and she's kept quiet. She came through here during the Virginia Tech shootings, and I'm up on the mountain telling about it, connecting all this, and she's just living this high old life. She's an Illuminati, way high up as you can go with them. So she doesn't represent the British people. She's a war criminal. I'm her cousin, I'm sad to say, and her father was a rotten two-bit. He's illegal. So now I'm going to get to this. Charles, now all the things they said my father did's a lie. My father was married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, Madison, Wisconsin. Last I saw, that was in the USA. So along they come now. If I'm skipping, try to follow me with what's going on. They had Harry, and they did, marry Meghan Markle. She's biracial. Excuse me for saying that. I'm not saying anything against Meghan Markle unless it comes out that she knew all this. It was planned. It was planned for her to marry. There's a lot more to this little bit, too, if it's told. and people have just gone along with it, and so happy to tell her background. And I saw something that was about her family way back, and they, I have to say African Americans because your class is being racial. No, I was never racial. But I came to find out in the circumstances that have happened to me that I've had hate crimes, and the same people you think uh, they can turn around and hate you just as bad, or do. And I'm going to leave it there. I've said enough about Martin Luther King partnering with JFK and the Reverend Andrew Young, who last I heard still alive in Atlanta. They all knew about me and about me being almost killed, what I was going through, all of it. Not one did a thing. Mrs. King didn't. After he was killed, Martin Luther King was shot. Andrew Young was with him, by the way. Andrew became mayor of Atlanta. I believe he was U.S. House of Representatives. He was appointed by Jimmy Carter, who I thought he was a governor and then president. I thought was a decent man. But then he has to be part of the Illuminati. He appointed Andrew Young to South Africa. This is where they went in, and they don't tell you about the Ebola and the diseases that were poured out on Africa. And, I suppose I've seen so much of South Africa now that the United Nations, which came to be after they took down my father, illegal treaty signed, I was kidnapped, and that allowed the Jews to go back into Israel, which is part of the Bible prophecy. You might stop and think there that was it okay to take down my father with all these lies, kidnap his daughter, and the torture done to me and his grandsons here in this country. Mark and Scott are heirs after me. So anyway, this all culminates back up to where you're at now in New York. The United Nations is the global government. Henry Kissinger, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, Kennedy clan, etc., and the Roosevelts, and on and on. There's lists of them, and I put part of it up not long ago. Now, the bit about HBO. Now, I'm not going to get it up, I don't guess. HBO, I haven't watched all the other. I'm aware of a lot that's been put up by Elizabeth, and public broadcasting, I believe, has done a lot. Making her out to be this saint and good person, that's because they've never told the truth, and you don't put her up and make her swear to God, okay, on a Bible under the threat of perjury like a lot of these other people. Yet you can put this man up here. Interpol mystery disappears, missing after trip to China. Developing story. I don't know what happened there, if they found her or not. Anyway, they tell about these other things, but with all that I've put out, they will not tell about me and my sons and the truth about my father marrying my mom. Instead, they're focused on Meghan Markle marrying Harry. Suddenly, this everything on it, the beautiful wedding, how the Elizabeth has welcomed her in. They're playing the race card. I'm just telling you the truth. That's exactly what they're doing. And they taught her the social graces. I was told I couldn't go back and have my job because I didn't know the social graces, learn the social graces. Well, kiss my grits, but I was taking care of Lionel Dempsey through high school, 7 days a week, walking back and forth miles, 2 miles back, to go to sleep and hear her screaming and yelling and threatening me and everything in the book. Okay, that's just part of it. So where am I now? And not funny. Anyway, so I didn't learn the social graces that they have. How could I? They put me in a pig pen over there. It's equivalent to it in Moulton, Alabama. Her own father helped kidnap me. She knows that Elizabeth, that whole family does. Now, by the way, I want to mention this one more time, and this is when my Facebook went down. there is a thing on Google Plus about hounds and horses, or horses and hounds, that's connected. Well, Elizabeth's father gave it to her. That's illegal. George VI, the sorry sot that took down his own brother with the Illuminati, and then he kidnapped me, helped it take me down. So he, and in my kidnapping in 41, born in 39, I showed that where he's with Roosevelt. Now then, let me skip on through here. What they're doing with this last one of a week ago, or on HBO, the royal family at work. Well, first of all, they're not the royal family. They're a bunch of cold-blooded killers, and they all know it. And, well, work, it's not their job to do it. But to work, well, golly gee. So they're trying to resurrect their image in case this is coming, the truth, and God help me, I hope it is. They took down my father and all this happened, and no, I don't like them. I think it's horrible. They should be treated like the criminals that they are, instead of up here using all kind of money and, well, I've said it, all this. So this is exactly what they're trying to do, because I totally believe that maybe they're going to be able to tell about me and what's happening. Some of it is so ugly and horrible to the British people. I was going to make, part of this is the racial thing with Meghan. South Africa, quite frankly, got in the mess that happened because Elizabeth and her father helped take down my father, Edward VIII. None of that would have happened. The illegal allowing these treaties to be made and letting that progress into the United Nations now. But you had, excuse me if I go back a minute, hope I'm not rambling, you can connect it. Governor, well, maybe I can't here. I'm going blank, I guess. He appointed Andrew Young, who was with Martin Luther King when he was shot. Okay, Martin Luther King, JFK, the blacks, the civil rights people, all know about me. They knew it before I was told and could remember back in '83, and I remembered a lot. Anyway, Jimmy Carter was president. He was former governor of Atlanta, and I had corresponded a little bit with him, a couple of letters, but anyway, I thought he was a good guy. Well, guess who he appoints as ambassador to the UN? Right up there in New York, the Illuminati, your end time people, your people that control your money, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bilderbergers, got you all on punch and puppetry. And believe me, it's mass now. And, well, I guess I'm going to quit there. Andrew Young is a black man. And he totally knows about, they knew and helped after I was kidnapped in keeping it quiet and what happened to me in Atlanta and anywhere else. Okay, now then, when he's ambassador, Andrew Young, by Jimmy Carter, the president, he's appointed, he's going back and forth to South Africa, and it was later, I guess, I can't remember, that Mandela became president. But the whole thing was to go after South Africa and make yourself look like the good guys, and you're caring, and you're going to go and help clean it up and all this. It all looks good and makes people think that, if they can shut out all this other, what they've done to me and my dad and all this other, this shouldn't have been happening to South Africa anyway. It's so appalling. And then to see all the leaders of Africa, South Africa particularly, come up here when they opened the United Nations, the